every Democrat in this race and Michael Bloomberg, who is a Republican, is a spoiler right now for beating Donald Trump. Bernie Sanders is beating Donald Trump right now by double digits. He is ahead of Joe Biden by double digits.
So Nomiki Konst, who is going to be on the show in a couple weeks, was on Fox Business and brought the facts with her. And what's amazing about these two clips that I'm going to show you here, this is a more objective analysis of the Democratic primary on Fox Business than I've seen on MSNBC. Because MSNBC rarely has people on like Nomiki. But here she is dropping knowledge on the panel. So check this out.
Here, host of the Nomiki Show, former Bernie Sanders campaign surrogate, Nomiki Konst in the house. Nomi, let's talk a little bit about Bernie, because he's getting torched by the media, other Democrats, and Michael Bloomberg. And it's not just that his supporters are going to be upset. If they really railroad him out of this nomination, what do you think will happen to the Democrat Party?
It will not exist.
I agree with you completely.
And as a result, the Republicans won't exist because they kind of work off of each other.
Yeah.
We'll just be like one giant independent mess or an oligarchy, which is, I mean, it's becoming even more. The only person who has a path to the nomination that's not Bernie Sanders right now is Michael Bloomberg. You have to have enough money to get through Super Tuesday, to expensive states like Texas and California, and you have to have the ground power, the organization.
He's just buying
on
the ground power.
And he's buying the ground
paying
power.
people 3 times what
That's
they'd make
right.
on other campaigns. Other campaigns, if they do have the resources, aren't able to hire people in upcoming states.
Well, they don't have the resources. The only person who has the resources is Bernie Sanders. So this is the real problem here. Pete Buttigieg doesn't have those resources. He definitely doesn't have the coalition behind him. He's going to face real obstacles in states with like people of color, which he pulls at 0 with right now.
We don't know that. I mean, that's one of the, do you think he'll go third party if they do railroad him out of the nomination?
I don't think so.
He should go third party, Bernie. Announce it here.
Sure. I mean, Bloomberg could do that if he wanted to as well. The problem with Bernie is that it's just a logistical nightmare. It's too difficult. He would be a spoiler for whoever. I mean, for Bloomberg.
Exactly. You don't really know who
Trump.
he'd be a spoiler for.
And that's the problem with Bloomberg, is Bloomberg would end up being the spoiler against Bernie, which he's doing right now. Let's just be very clear. Every Democrat in this race and Michael Bloomberg, who is a Republican, is a spoiler right now for beating Donald Trump. Bernie Sanders is beating Donald Trump right now by double digits. He is ahead of Joe Biden by double digits. He has the infrastructure to beat Donald Trump's infrastructure. These people who are clinging to their 15th houses, these consultants who are sucking money away from Democratic activists and voters, and look at Michael Bloomberg as a solution so that they can pretend that they're woke.
So before I get to the next clip, this is awesome. I mean, this, as I said earlier, this is more objective, more true to reality than any coverage I've seen of the Democratic primary on MSNBC. Now, CNN is a little better. As I said in the past, they have on Alexandra Rojas, Justice Democrats. She's now a CNN contributor. They'll have on Cenk Uygur and Anna Kasparian occasionally. They'll have on some other progressives as well. But for the most part, mostly CNN is not good, and MSNBC is the worst. Now, this is only in the discussion of the Democratic primary. If you're talking about, coverage of Donald Trump, and Republicans obviously never watch Fox News for Trump coverage. But when it comes to the Democratic primary, I mean, they have no reason to really weight one side over the other here. So, and in some ways, because a lot of them think that Bernie Sanders is unelectable, then they're perfectly happy to have someone on who's going to support Bernie Sanders, even though, as I say a million times over, Bernie is the most electable candidate because of the crowd he's able to bring out that no other candidate can reach. Young people, independents, working class voters. That is why Bernie Sanders, if he's the nominee, will absolutely beat Trump, and it will be through huge turnout, especially among the youth. But let me go to the next clip here where this just continues. And also, shout out to Case Study QB who recorded this.
These are not Democrats. These are Republicans who want to make money but seem really hip and cool. The real Democrats are the ones that supported the unions, that supported workers, that understand that students are struggling with their
debt. You can still support workers and make money. I mean, Bernie's trying to have
No,
that
you're right. You're right. You're 100%.
Nothing wrong with being successful.
Well, it's interesting because in 2016, you may recall, James Clyburn said he held off his endorsement for a bit, and of course he endorsed Hillary Clinton in the end, but he said that his own family, his grandson, said that he was supporting Bernie Sanders, and that caused him to pause and reflect. Of course, he ended up going with the establishment in the end, and he might do that again. But you're seeing a generational shift that the younger generation of black voters is influencing their parents and grandparents. And so you're starting to see those numbers. They're taking them to rallies with them. They're listening to Bernie Sanders.
So why doesn't that bear out in the polling?
It is, actually. Bernie Sanders has the most support when it comes to people of color as a whole, Latinos and African Americans, and he comes in second, just below Joe Biden. So Bernie Sanders has been able to make up a lot of...
Mike Bloomberg's in second with African American voters in South Carolina, at least before the tape.
Right. Well, that too. Before the tape, the last week...
Don't you think that reveals that he really is racist at heart?
Without a doubt. I mean, if you listen to any of these tapes and if you see Michael Bloomberg's record, the problem is that he hasn't been tested. He's just starting to campaign now. So he's just starting to get
Yeah, no one's really pushed him on some of these critical issues.
Again, you don't see this. I'm not here to tell you to watch Fox Business, because just wait for these clips. Watch the clips. Don't watch the channel. But I'm showing you this to point out the fact that you do not have this discussion, neither an objective discussion about Bernie Sanders on MSNBC or an objective discussion about Bloomberg on MSNBC. All they've been doing on MSNBC is pushing Bloomberg now. It is so sad. And it really shows you they just have complete contempt for the working class. They don't give a flying F about anybody. All they care about is their wealth, their own money, their own power. So to actually have, a discussion that you could see, potentially on, I don't know, some online show, an actual real discussion about Bernie's chances, what he's building, and what Bloomberg is doing. I mean, it's just super rare to see this on cable news. And thank God they had Nomiki on to talk about this. And also, one last thing, Nomiki has a new show, The Nomiki Show. So check it out on YouTube. And as I said, she's going to be on this show in a week and a half or so. And it's going to be after the Nevada caucuses. So we're going to discuss what happened there. Hopefully it goes smoothly. We'll have to wait and see. And Nomiki has a lot of fantastic insight on the DNC. So check out her show, because she brings a lot of knowledge that most of us just don't have access to.